Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and people. We're ready here for semifinal action in the women's division at the Elite Invite 2024 in Leuven. We've got Mooncup from Brussels versus YAKA from Noisy-le-Sec. These two francophone teams coming up against each other. Very evenly matched and very even results. In fact, I was having a look, and it seems that they have two mutual opponents. They've both played Iceni. They both played East Block, and both teams beat East Block 15-8, and both teams beat Iceni 15-10. So exact matchups on their mutual opponents. So it seems like we're going to be in for a tight one here. Mooncup's in white, playing against YAKA in red. Mooncup starting on offense. It looks like Carmen Legala, the Ribanese woman, starting things off for Mooncup. I think that's Brain DeHups with the disc. Mooncup moving very well out of a vertical stack, and that's a nice shot to the end zone and a first goal for Mooncup. They start things off solidly 1-0 to Brussels. So we are here in the semifinal rounds of the women's division. See here the great movement from Mooncup's offense. Nice shot into space there for Mooncup as they collect their first goal. A good start from the Mooncup O-line. We'll get a chance to see YAKA's O-line coming up next, though YAKA traditionally doesn't play very strict O&D lines. Generally have a couple lines that alternate back and forth. Of course, when things get a bit tighter later on, they might substitute some stars from each line on a little more. But very interested to see the likes of Maywen Leduc and how they will impact this game, as they have had an incredible defensive stand, 16 years old, but had some incredible defensive performances in the last few games that I've seen Mooncup play. Palabas centers to Aline Mondiot, who shoots it deep immediately. Leduc's there, tested. Oh, but Castillo comes down with it over the pressure of Leduc. Great catch there from Maria Castillo. So, YAKA punch back. His throw looked a little dicey. It looked like Leduc was going to get there. Definitely had size on Castillo. But Castillo just reads it perfectly. And maybe a bit more experience there on how to attack that disc, as Leduc has only been playing for a couple years now. Castillo been on the scene a bit longer than that. So 1 point each here. Both scoring with nice shots deep into space. We're getting down to the pointy end of the Elite Invite. Been such a great event in Leuven, Belgium. The best of Europe coming to battle early season. Love to see it. And of course, all this will impact the EUCS ranking. We'll have a show Monday night at 8 o'clock to explain exactly where every team stands and who is in that threshold to be in or out. You see here the rankings there, graphics. YAKA not yet in the rankings, where Mooncup is now at 7th place with a rating of 205.93, a record of 4-2 as they went to the London Spring Tour. So this is their second EUCS event. YAKA, it's their first, so looking to establish themselves in the rankings early on. Raleigh. Salome Rowley. Start things off for Mooncup. Very short field. The pull not coming back in. Seems like there's a foul call on the handler space, but whatever has been called has been retracted. And now the disc is in. High pass, but collected by Rainmakers. And I think that is Harris to Legala, as Moon clicking on all cylinders on offense to start this game off. 2-1 for Brussels over Noisy-le-Sec, just outside of Paris. We see there the Moon Catchers taking a bit of a break before they prepare for their semifinal coming up after this round. Cheering on their women. So it looks like Sarah Holly will be pulling for Mooncup. Rasta Aline Mondio to pick up. Immediately gets a great under. Shot across the field into the back of the end zone. Is there going to be enough space to collect it? There's a catch, but is it in? Yes, it's counted in. As Goikolea counts that one for herself. Really great presence of mind to tow that one in. Looked like she was running out of space there, but manages to catch it. I think the shot there was from Kati Meisel. Let's see here. Shot. She make a little cut and then a 7 cut there to open herself up into the break space. But the throw, probably not the exact intention, but just enough space for Irena Goekolea to catch that one. Goekolea coming from Spain, played for Coracota and Quijotes and Dulcineas before joining up with YAKA. Was also on the World Beach Ultimate Championship squad last year, representing Spain as well, getting a silver medal. So now Mooncatcher's back with it. It's Borneau. Throws the under, dishes across. Throw a little high for Harris, but she collects it. What a grab! Incredible stuff by Julia Harris. To Haps now, the captain. The Haps puts a blade into the end zone for Lagala, and she's got it. Great stuff from Mooncup. They continue to score strongly. And it's 3-2, but it looks like there's a call on the field. Perhaps a travel. It's going to go back in the hands of the Haps. The Hasp, sorry. Nice movement here from Mooncup. Raule looking for something. Doesn't like the dump reset structure, just puts a blade into the end zone, and that still somehow works. Fiona Schluter gets the disc, and Mooncup hold on to their lead 3-2. Still all clean between these two Francophone teams. Look at this grab by Harris. I really thought that was going to be out of her reach. And then you see YAKA shuts down every option. So frustrating as a defense because you've done everything you're supposed to do on shutdown defense, but still somehow the bailout throw works. You have to be happy with yourself that you forced that, but it can be very frustrating. Just opened up the chat for this game. If you want to say hi, stop in there. Give me any comments, any feedback. Peut-être en français aussi. My French okay, but I don't think I can do a whole game in French. Maybe I'll try to do a few points here and there. Mondio just loves looking for that bomb, and you have to respect it every time she has the disc. Castillo now. dishes it across. Babican and Palabas cut each other off. Instead, we go back to Castillo. Great grab. That's Lucina. And gonna get another look at that catch. I thought it was for Babican, but Lucy had other ideas. You see Leduc on Castillo. Saw that matchup already once. Like to see some more aerial battles between those two. Babican finds Palabas. Palabas blades it across to Rasta, and Rasta, usually the thrower, but also knows the end zone very well. And collects a goal from Palabas' assist. We're 3-3 here between these two teams. See there Palabas burning Matty Kirkland up line. And then just the blade over to Aline Mondiaux on the side of the field. Very solid matchup so far. Then we have Caroline Thyssen, the German, on this squad. Been playing for YAKA for a couple seasons now. YAKA, like many of the top programs, does take a few pickups from around Europe to strengthen their squads, try and keep themselves in gold medal contention, and also eventually challenge at the World Clubs whenever that comes around. This ball going out of bounds. It's going to be bricked. And Mooncup coming out of a split stack, which seems to be very popular at this tournament this year. Many teams opting to split their cutters into two different sides of the field. Start things off. This time it works out. Lefebvre gets the disc off. I think that's Legala with the disc. Her Stegosaurus hat. The Italian blades it around to Schlitter. Schlitter with a sneaky pass over to De Hasp. De Hasp looking for options. Eventually finds the dump over to Borneau. Then you got Borneau and Legala working together. Borneau burns up line, but Legala opts to go backwards to De Hasp. De Hasp blades it to the end zone, and that's going to work out. Another goal for Mooncup as Fiona Schlitter reels that one in. Fiona Schlitter, a name I wasn't that familiar with before this tournament, but she's been playing extremely well for Mooncup. So definitely going to take note of her in the future. It's 4-3 still on serve. Still no breaks in this game. There we see Isa Monkau, ex-Grutz player from the Netherlands, coming down and playing with Mooncup. And Arnaud, the coach. Arnaud Massard is part of one of the star players on Moon in the generation before they really took off and became such a powerhouse in Europe, but was really, really good player back in the early 2010s up until that 2016 run they had with Belgium also made top 8. And he's now focused on coaching. I know he had some injuries, so it's good that he can still contribute to the Moon Club. YAKA now. Moving it well. Mon Dieu. Looking for a deep shot that she likes. No. Centers to Boss. Boss giving and going. Mon Dieu prefers the inside shot. Nice grab. Now YAKA almost at the end zone line. Mooncup doing great to smother all the options, but eventually the around pass is found to Boss. Boss with another hammer to Babikian. And Boss just with those expansive shots really helping to open up this YAKA offense. When the disc is in someone else's hands, they're seeming to have trouble opening things up, but Boss and their break throws are really helping YAKA score everything. And that's 4-4. Both O-lines holding steady, but someone's going to crack, and the question is, who's it going to be first? YAKA maybe with a bit more experience at this level. Mooncup a bit younger of a team. Will that experience prevail, or will the fiery young Brussels women have something to say about it? There we see Babikian, young player. Funny here to see that Babikian's sporting hero is Rasta, Aline Mondio, saying that Rasta is a very good teammate and captain. Of course, everybody who's been watching European Ultimate for the last 15 years knows that that's true. Mooncup coming out of a vertical stack this time. Nice undercuts provided. Big hut into the end zone in the back corner, and that is collected by Beatrice Lefebvre. And Mooncup hold on 5-4. These two teams just shooting and succeeding. Which defensive team can do something? And you see teams, both teams showing a lot of different offensive weapons. Here we see the deep shots, very difficult. Both teams have shown the deep shots, both teams have shown their ability to grind unders, and both teams have shown the ability to get nice inside breaks. So all the tools in the toolkit for both of these teams, and maybe it'll take some type of junkie zone look or something to slow one of them down into some kind of plan B that they're not ready for. But so far, both offenses happy to trade things out. It also could come down to which team is able to score their points more quickly, which will tire out the other team's offense more and give your O-line, if you have some star players in the O-line, that the chance to maybe play some double duty down the stretch, if that's what it's going to be to get with these two teams. Again, they had exact score lines, 15-8 against East Block, 15-10 against Iceni, both teams. So obviously incredibly well matched. Expect nothing less in the semifinal of a Elite Invite tournament, though. The YAKA here on the attack. Paula Boss. And there's the run-through block opportunity, and it's taken. That's Awadio who gets the first block, first turn of this game. And now Mooncup with a chance to break, which those chances might be few and far between. Leduc gets the Raymakers, and they're just moving all across, but that's too short for Dio. And Irena Goekolea gets another stat to her name, this time in the form of a defensive block. Paula Boss will start things off from the sideline for YAKA. Nice inside shot to Rasta, but is it too far? Oh, backed up well. I think that's Meisel. Mondio looking for options. Inside shot to Meisel. Meisel boosts it deep. And there's Maria Castillo on the chase. She bids, but it's too far. You see Castillo burn Julia Harris, which is not an easy feat. These two athletes going at it together. The throw did look good coming off the hands, but somehow overshot Maria Castillo, which is not an easy thing to do. And now Mooncup get another opportunity. Starting off in a horizontal stack set. That's Sarah Holly will anchor things for this Mooncup D-line offensive stand. Looks off the cut from Harris the first time and eventually shoots it to her after Castillo kind of overshoots and overcommits on the defensive play. Harris with it. Back to Rahali. Harris has in the break space. She goes deep for Leduc. Leduc's there with the height and able to come down with it. Short field to work with. Rahali now looks for Dio in the end zone, and Dio has it. And that's a break for Mooncup. 6-4 here in the semifinals, the Elite Invite. Great catch there by Dio. You can see her pumping herself up with those fist bumps. But that came down to a huge grab by Leduc. See Harris here. Mark not set up, and that gives her the opportunity to shoot to Leduc. Such a big target. Only 16 years old. It'll be interesting to see how they progress into this division in the coming years. But already making their mark. And Dio with an emphatic spike. So Mooncup's D-line going to go back out there again. They go up 6-4 against the powerhouse of YAKA. A lot of people counting YAKA out, maybe saying they're not quite up to the stature of the jinxes and the shouts out there, but getting that, I think YAKA last year, let me pull it up. I have some stats that I can look at. YAKA did have losses to Jinx and Shout last year. Lost to Jinx, the Elite Invite, and Shout at EUCF. But had wins over everybody else, and is still a very strong team. Never count them out. As you see here, YAKA completely shifting lines. Abekondiason now with the disc. Not playing a real strict O&D line. This is not the Paula Boss Rasta line. This is more the Thyssen line. There's a shot to the end zone, and that's going to be an easy score as Chloé Olivier reels in her first goal of the game. Great response to getting broken 6-5, and that's the advantage you have when you have these two even lines, is that if your O-line's frustrated if they just got broken, they can take a break. They know that they have another whole line of players that's going to have their back. No worries. And in fact, now that other O-line that got broken will get the chance to play some D. You see Leduc there pop up, trying to get hands on that disc, but out of reach and perfectly placed for Olivier. Olivier, another player from Paris, of course, has played for Manchot and the mixed national team before. Was on that 2023 team last year that won the gold medal at the EUC. So now we will see the Rasta Paula Boss Maria Castillo line for the first time on defense. Castillo with the pull, and Mooncup now attacking back. as they start in a bit of a cluster stack in the middle. Looks like YAKA's sagging off the handlers a little bit. Not quite a zone, but a little zone-y. Allowing swings and trying to shut down all options downfield. Nice pass up. Oh, great shot inside. Another throw to the end zone, and that's caught. Elison Bourneau racking up more stats to her name. I'm not sure where Ava Bourneau is this weekend, but we have one Bourneau sister on Mooncup. Look at this shot. You need such precision to get that disc exactly where Bourneau can get to it, and it's just executed perfectly. So Mooncup with their 7-5 advantage. We'll go back out on D. We see Elison Bourneau crossing over. Maybe realizing this is a key moment in the game where if they can break, they'll take half. So loading up this line a little bit. See Eva Maxson and Maddie Coquelin there. Maddie coming over from Geneva. So Tisson starting things off for YAKA. Used to calling her for Germany, but now playing with the Red Army. Olivier. Nice reset cut. Get it over to Tisson. It's Tisson and Olivier doing a lot of the heavy lifting here for YAKA. That one going to Delony. Now back to Olivier again. And the nice inside shot. That's easy stuff from YAKA. So the power line doesn't produce for Mooncup. And Clara Matias hauls in a goal. If I heard correctly, one of the teams has called a timeout. Let's wait for the replay to finish to verify if that's the case. Yes. So we'll take a quick break. It's 7-6. Mooncup up on YAKA. We'll be right back to conclude this first half just after these messages.
Yes, he will. The lovely did.
Welcome back to the Elite Invite Leuven, Belgium in the semi-final women's division. We got Mooncup versus YAKA. Mooncup up 7-6. The women from Brussels up on the women from Noisy-le-Sec. And Mooncup will be starting this point on offense, giving themselves a chance to take half 8-6 up that one break. Such a clean game between these two teams. One little break from Mooncup, all that's separating these teams at the moment. Now we'll see what the timeout brought. We do see the First line coming out for YAKA. Good thing started off here for Mooncup. Ooh, a lot of bodies under that, but still ends up in Mooncup hands. Great movement here from the Moons. Borneau looks for options. Eventually centers the disc. Wide pass to Lagala. Shot to the end zone. All alone. Not quite there, though, is Dasp. Dasp looking for Harris. Isolated. Doesn't like any of her options. Eventually just shoots it to the end zone for a nice cheeky one to Fiona Schluter. And Mooncup does take half, 8-6. So that'll do it for half. I believe that YAKA will start half on offense. So still only up that one break. Such a clean, such a great game we've had so far here. And yeah, we'll be right back after this message for second half action. Don't go anywhere.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
What a grab! Oh my! Somehow they do it!
Welcome back to here, second half action. Mooncup up 8-6 on YAKA. Mooncup's O-line has been perfect so far this game, not getting broken yet once. YAKA also playing a near perfect game, only getting broken once, but that's the difference in this level. We're going to see a replay at the end of the half. Brenda Hops totally runs out of options, but eventually just pops it into Schluter. And that'll do it. So YAKA, number of times been playing extremely good defense in terms of shutting down options, but the Mooncup have been able to bail themselves out time after time. It's been a similar story on the other end, to be honest. I mean, Paula Boss has had a number of shots for YAKA that have been there and looked on the money, but only because their throwing prowess is so good. But it has been after, like, at stall 8, Mooncup shut down all the easy things and then forces a difficult throw out of Palabas. It's just that Palabas has them, so works out. And yeah, Perrine Dasp showing that she has the chops to handle the pressure as well. So, Aline Rasta Mondiaux start things off for YAKA. Nice big gainer. Nice high shot taken down by Matias. Stoppage of play. We do see Leduc has switched on to the Matias matchup, typically taking Castillo. Maybe Castillo's not in this point. Palabas goes up line. Not there in time. Inside shot to Boss, and that continue easy to Rasta. Second time those two connect in that order. The Eurostars playing well together. So YAKA answer with an 8-7. Still playing very solidly, but Mooncup in the advantage, having started on 0 and being up one break. Love the timing on that cut from Rasta, not too early. I always tell players you got to be late on that cut to make sure that your thrower has room to throw it into space, so that you're not all the way on the sideline by the time they look at you. Yeah, of course, Ross has been playing this game forever and has incredible awareness and knowledge of the game, so no surprise that she has perfect timing like that. People know her as a thrower, but she knows the game so well. She's great on the continuation as well. So Mooncup's offense is going to come out again. Have not really seen YAKA been able to slow them down yet. We'll see if YAKA can throw something new. Wonder what they talked about at halftime to find something to stop this Mooncup offense. It's been so good in the first half. Will that sustain itself? Let's see. High throw collected by Lagala. Lagala with the around pass, and that's going to be a layout block, and it will count. Tissin makes it work and gives YAKA a chance for getting their first break of the game. Just times that layout perfectly, gets her hand on it, and you see Beatrice Lefebvre frustrated because I think she could have attacked that a little harder. But as it is, Tissin going to start things off for YAKA. But there are no options there, and Tissin's going to call a foul. I think she's going to maybe get away with one because there was nobody there in her throwing space anyways, but if she drew the foul, she drew the foul. You see here, no one was ready for this throw. I mean, there is a cutter there, but she stops. So I think regardless of the foul, that was going to be a turn, but we will see what the discussion on the field is. I mean, of course, if the disc was totally floated out there, maybe it would have been catchable. I don't know if that's what Tissin was intending to do. But it still looked like a throw to kind of no one. They are discussing whether whether the player was stationary or whether it was a foul. But I think it's going to come back as a contested foul. Mooncup was able to shut down all the options before. If they can just hold on to that for a few more seconds, they should be able to generate another turnover. But the disc in Tissin's hands is a very capable thrower. We'll see how that works. It's going to come in on 6, so big blading shot to the side, and that was going to be a turn. So Mooncup will get it back regardless. Lagala picks it up immediately, looking to shoot it downfield. But instead throws it right back to Tissin. So a little bit of sloppiness after such a great first half here. Nice gainer for YAKA. This looking a little better than their last offensive stand. Now we have it with Tissin on the sideline. She shoots deep. Nice blade into the end zone. Arcing. Can Olivier read it? Yes, she can. What a grab by Chloé Olivier. And that's the break that YAKA needed. 8-8. Olivier is such a great player. Been very impressed with her this tournament. I've seen her before, but I really think she's shining this year. I think she's been hitting the gym, hitting the fitness over the offseason, and really showing herself as one of these powerful players on the YAKA side this year. Really stepping up. See here this shot from Tissin. Maybe not the end zone play they drew up. When you got an athlete like Olivier under it, I guess it's going to work out anyways. You see Lison Bourneau. It's not an easy player to get behind. Those two have probably played with each other through different junior French programs for a long time. See no hard feelings there on that play. There we see Castillo getting ready to pull. Castillo, a Mexican player. Been playing for YAKA for a while now, the 34-year-old. One of the most athletic deep threats this YAKA side has. All right, Mooncup, how are they going to respond to getting broken? I always say the first break's the hardest. Now you've given some doubt to the Mooncup O-line. Can you get another one? So far, Mooncup looking a little more stifled. Options downfield getting a little more shut down. Arcing throw. There's the throw. Harris trying to read it well, but Castillo is going to body up and apparently she was a little too physical there. Harris calls the foul and Castillo accepts it. So will be Harris's disc. Nice work from Mooncup. Belper. Such a strong player for Mooncup in the indoor championships, I remember. Deasp is going to send it back as a pick was called in the stack. Yeah, pretty crowded there. Understandable pick call. Oh, the disc is going to stay with Deasp. Deasp working with Belper in the backfield. Nice blade around. Harris the disc on the inside shot, and that's going to work out. Nice response from Mooncup to score after getting broken. Lison Bourneau with another goal to her name. So 9-8, Brussels still in front. We are on serve, but YAKA will need one more break to win this game. Whereas Mooncup would be happy to trade out. I have a feeling we're not going to have the total clean trade out the rest of the game. There's still a lot of game we played, so YAKA's definitely going to have their chances. But Mooncup will also probably get a few of theirs, and we see loading up a little bit here. Lagala coming in on this D-line. As well as Fiona Schluter. A couple O players coming over, so Mooncup trying to put some power in to ensure a break opportunity. Pull there from Raule. Start things off for YAKA. Nice big gainer up to Tisson. Another throw to the open side. YAKA just grinding with their legs and getting big under gainers. Just some fundamental ultimate there. And that's, wow, big pressure, and the hammer just a little bit off. As I was saying, fundamental ultimate did not really have the reset structure to follow that up, but the cuts were looking good. But once that stopped, that's not what you want to have. You don't want to have to throw a hammer to get your reset off. So Mooncup here with the chance for a break, and they have a power line in, so let's see if they can capitalize with Lagala on the disc. Lagala shoots it for Leduc. Leduc's there, but they cannot read the disc, and that one's going to go down into the grass. So YAKA are going to get the disc right back. Tisson. YAKA again, grinding the unders. Now we got in Tisson's hands, nice high release backhand break. Nice around shot. Love that inside shot as well. YAKA really looking well here. Catch has to go to ground, but it works. Loses a couple stall count seconds, but Jean Delaval keeps the disc in hand. Caroline Tisson throws it around to Olivier. Olivier looks for an easy option. What a layout. D by Leduc, but Tisson on the bounce, catches it. Heartbreak for Mooncup. Looked like a play for the ages, but now YAKA still with a chance to score. Swung around, and the around shot, that's picture perfect. What a sequence of events we had there, ladies and gentlemen. You love to see this type of play here at the Elite Invite. Leduc with an amazing layout. Tissin catching it off the bounce. Love seeing these stars ball out here at the Elite Invite. Here we're going to see the swing pass. Leduc reads it perfectly. As you can see, I think Matias tried to milk that into the end zone as opposed to attacking it. But Tissin, just great presence of mind. And now the around shot. And the mark just doesn't get in on time and just allows this easy pass into the end zone. Great stuff from YAKA. Great response. So, we see a timeout on the field, probably by YAKA. 9-9. Nothing between these two teams. We knew the score was even coming into this one, and it's even throughout this part of this game. Don't go anywhere. The conclusion of this matchup coming up right after this.
Yes, he will. The lovely day.
Welcome back to this semifinal action here. YAKA versus Mooncup. We're 9-9. The other semifinal, BFD Shout versus Jinx Midnight. Jinx up 7-6. So two tight ones here in the semis. Top four teams looking to assert themselves. Who can show themselves to be the better one right now, and who's going to get that wild card to the EUCF, guaranteeing themselves a spot at that big tournament at the end of the year, the one we're all playing for. Right now, Mooncup with a slight advantage, but only just. Palabas to pull for YAKA, and we're back into it. Is that a dropped pull from Mooncup? I was looking down at the score, then all of a sudden looked up, and all of a sudden it looks like YAKA's disc. So Rasta to pick up. Shoots it to the end zone, but that's going to be bobbled. But Bobby Kyan on the tip, answering right back after Tissin did the same thing on the other side. YAKA just coming away with these. Mooncup got to catch their Ds. And YAKA just take advantage of that situation. 10-9 now. All of a sudden, YAKA's in front. I believe for the first time this game. Let's see what happened here. There's the pull, and indeed just a dropped pull. See heads down in frustration there. Nothing you can do about it, but you see this disc coming off from Rasta, and it looked like Mooncup could have snaffled it up, but instead of catching it, they just go to smash it, and that gives Bobby Kyan the chance to just read it properly and catch the goal. And Aman Bobby Kyan comes down with it, and now, wow, tough stuff there for the Mooncup defense. Second time that they get a D that goes into YAKA's hands. So that's a break for YAKA, and all of a sudden the advantage isn't on their side. 10-9 here at the semifinal. Can Mooncup answer? Coming out of a vert stack. Lots of pressure here from the YAKA defense. They're fired up after these plays. All of a sudden, when you get a couple plays like that, Sometimes it gets your defense that extra oomph. So now they can sense that that blood's in the water. Backhand force here from YAKA. Some discussion about the call here. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. Disc is back in. Belpaire swings it across to Harris. Or maybe that's Schutter, sorry. Lagala. Swings it around. Nice shot. There's space for it, but Harris gets it. Harris playing so well this game. Making some incredible catches there, shooting it up the line to Borneau. Borneau continues to Lagala, and Lagala goes up too early, and YAKA have an opportunity to get their lead extended by 2. Good chance for defense here by Mooncup as YAKA are trying to move it around. Looking for options. Low pass just about collected by Matias. Doesn't like the reset options. Eventually goes for the around. That works out to Olivier. Thyssen. Matias now with the disc in hand. Looking for something, eventually finds it on the sideline. TS goes to the around pass. It's, I think, a little bit off target, but it works for Thyssen anyways. Now Olivier with it in her hands. Looking for something in the end zone. Eventually just looks for Thyssen, isolated, and a miscommunication on the cut. And Mooncup get a gift. Lagala. A little bit of a wide shot, but it works out for Mooncup. Harris again. Working with Borneau. Borneau with the blade over to Harris. She has it looking to the end zone for a shot. She goes for Lagala all in one, and this time it works out. Lagala takes it down strong, and the Stegosaurus hat puts another point on the board for Mooncup. After all that, we're tied at 10s. What an intense game we have here, folks. What an intense game between these two powerhouses of Europe. I mean, Mooncup had their first season last year, but got top 5 then. I think really asserting themselves in this tournament, saying, hey, we are here. Fear us. We are in that same tier of the YAKAs and the Shouts and the Jinxes of the world. This Brussels outfit showing themselves to be strong, but YAKA still with that 1 point in front. Mooncup did falter at the spring tour, losing to Iceni by 1 there. Taking a loss, but here they've shown that they're quite strong. And looking to get themselves into the final on home soil. Old home soil, they're from Brussels, just down the road from Leuven. Jet Set Leuven, the real home team, also in attendance. Shout Jinx Midnight are at 7-7. At least according to the score reporter. Not sure if that's totally up to date. Blady pull. Babikian signaling where it's going to come in. Zaline Mondiaux picks up the disc. Boosts it deep immediately. One throw offense. And that's just perfect. That's the kind of throw that you have when Aline Mondiaux is on your team. Rasta with a great shot to Maria Castillo. Such a pleasure to watch. But you got to know that if you're Mooncup. When Rasta has the disc, you should be backing your players, especially someone like Castillo. You cannot give them a deep option like that. You see here, Castillo just blows by Madeline Kirkland. Kirkland should be behind Castillo the whole way if you know Rasta's walking it in. That's Ultimate 101, or playing against YAKA 101. Back the good deep cutters if Rasta has the disc in her hand. YAKA up 11-10 now. This is a really tight one coming down to the wire. Curious if YAKA will stick to their two-line system coming down here, or at what point will they start to, you know, have Thyssen, the likes of Thyssen, Paula Bass, Chloe Olivier, play a few more points on the opposite line? Or will they just trust their depth to win this one out? I'm guessing if they hold on to this lead, they'll probably keep it going. But if they go down one, we'll see. Are they going to trust the system or trust the stars? Always a tough choice to make as a coach. Right now, it's Borneau for Mooncup. Ooh, bit of an underthrow to Borneau, but she collects it well. High release flick. Over to Schlitter. Great movement here. Raulet gets to Borneau. Thyssen guarding Raulet. Raulet's going to go up the line, but I'm guessing Tyssen's going to guard her. And that's a pop into the end zone. And is that caught for Maria Belpaire? It is, but is it a goal? From my eyes, it might have been out. There's going to be a small conversation about it. Eris Raymacher says that it's in. But, we got a replay here. That's a little bit too late of a replay. It's called a goal. Let's take a look here. I think she caught it with the disc in the air. Maybe we can get that a little slower. They are going to call it a goal either way. But I'd like to see that a little bit slower if we can, because it's always tough. It's very common that people catch it with the disc and their foot on the ground. That one was really tight to tell. Surprised that it didn't get called just out. All right, slowing it down here. There's the catch. I think her foot was off the ground. Tough to say. Anyways, they call it a goal. It's self-officiated. Doesn't really matter what I say. Matters what they say down on the field. So we're at 11s. Such a tight game here between these two teams. Really could go either way. At what point do you start tightening your lines? At what point do you start saying, hey, look, the whole team got us here, but we have to increase our chances for every break, but also we got to increase our chances for every hold. So what point do you say, okay, our stars, how much gas do you have in the tank? Do you have 5 points in a row? Do you have 3 points in a row? Right now, Rahali to pull. Centered to Rasta. Swung over to Boss. It's just not really fair that they have both Mondiaux and Boss in their handler core. You can stop one of them, and then the other one's going to boost it just as well. Mooncup zone doing a good job to prevent both of those throwers from throwing anything too dangerous so far. Just forcing them to swing it. I think they want to get the disc in other people's hands as much as possible. What they don't want is a two-pass offense, and they've definitely prevented that so far. So now the wall has slowed them down and gotten YAKA to half field. At what point do you melt out of it? Now Bobby Kyan breaks through. Still staying in the zone. Now they're going into person. There's an inside shot from Boss to Castillo. Castillo back to Rasta. Rasta looking into the end zone. Doesn't see anything she likes yet. Boss is going up the line. Rasta can't get there. Just sneaks it past. Now Rasta up the line herself. The inside pass to Boss works, and the kick spike will punctuate 12-11 for YAKA. Boss a little sorry about that celebration. Was that a little too close to her defender, their defender, sorry. And YAKA is up 12-11. Really coming down to the wire here. This is where it really gets exciting, folks. One big play could be the difference. Could be a huge sky, could be a huge defensive block, could be just a bunch of boring offense. But something is going to turn the tide here. You can see the tension mounting. You can see in the players' faces that they know it's coming down to it. YAKA just needs 3 more holds and they win this game. Mooncup needs those 3 holds and a break. So YAKA definitely in the driver's seat and have been playing extremely clean this whole second half. It's also 8-8 in the other semifinal between Jinx and Shout, so all our teams notched up evenly here in the top 4, showing how amazing this women's division is going to be. I think, for my money, it will be the most exciting division at the EUCF later this year. There's going to be so many teams that have a shot for a title, but right now it's Mooncup and YAKA at the Elite Invite. And Lagala looking to squeeze things through for Mooncup, and it works out. Dasp swings it across to Raule. Raule's got Harris on the end zone. She puts the scuba up to Lagala, and that's picture perfect. Lagala with the dive to make it a little more exciting, but it's 12-12. What a game, what a game, what a game. Hope y'all are enjoying that. I don't know if the chat's not working. I see nobody in the chat. I would expect there to be some fans of Mooncup and YAKA watching here. So if you're there on Solid Sports, write something down. Tell me which team you're supporting. Let's see if we got more supporters for YAKA or Mooncup. What a fantastic match we have between these two French-speaking teams. Not French teams, but French-speaking teams. Lison Bourneau coming over from France to play with this team here. You see she's crossing over on the D-line, as she's done many times already. We see Isa Moncao coming out, another athletic player that could do something. Leduc out there, along with Clara Lazaris and the rest of the Mooncup D-line. So, though they put Bourneau in, they have not yet gone wholesale with stars yet. I'm wondering if we're going to get like a Lagala Bourneau D-line at some point. So we come back out into this zone to try and limit YAKA's deep shots. It has been effective, but the problem with this zone, I mean, it's a good zone in that it's stopping the deep looks, but the problem is that it seems like conditions are pretty still, and you've got throwers like Boss and Mondio. They're not really going to turn it. And Babi Kian, again, breaks the zone open. She did it last point as well. Nice swing pass over to Nia. Boss catches it in traffic and puts the inside shots, and oh my god, does that work? How did that happen? I thought for sure that was going to be a turnover, but somehow YAKA come down with it, and they're now at 13-12, just 2 points away from winning this game. Look at this catch by Boss. All kinds of pressure. And that inside shot, vision on Boss to notice that that defender was completely turned around. Wow. So we see YAKA here still coming out with the same line, not really crossing players over, not yet putting the pressure on, just trusting their whole team and their whole depth, which is also good early season. You want to give all your players the chance to play in these high-pressure situations so they can gain that experience. Then maybe the UCF you put your stars in, but right now, it's still May. And I think all these teams know, I mean, they're going to qualify for EUCF. That's not the problem, so good on the coaching to maybe not do that. But it's also it's been YAKA's strategy for a long time. They don't do a lot of power lining. They do a lot of just alternating their lines back and forth. Don't even play O&D. But now it's Mooncup. See a bit of sagging off of the handler defenders. Trying to force the disc back. Passes through some fingertips, but eventually stays in Mooncup's hands. Shot goes into the end zone for Lagala. Does she have enough space? Oh no, she cannot come down with it. And YAKA under a lot of pressure there. I thought Lagala, she had her hand on it and plenty of space in the back of the end zone, but just couldn't grab it. And now YAKA with a chance to go up for the 2-point lead. I think they're first of the game. See the Manchot sitting there in the back. Had a nice game against Seski earlier, but I do believe they dropped that one. Another French team in the mixed division. But YAKA now. Pass to the middle. Swung across. Matias. This could be huge for YAKA if they can score this one. Olivier. Swings to the middle. High break to Thyssen. Thyssen toes it in. Got the Lagala pressure on her, but swings it all the way across the field. There's no Mooncup mark for the moment. Now Thyssen giving and going. And a timeout is called to slow things down as YAKA really understanding the moment right now. They have to punch this one in. So big here. We're at 13-12. YAKA with a chance to make it 14. Do not go anywhere. We're going to conclude this game just after this.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
Oh my, somehow they do it!
We are back here to conclude this matchup. 13-12, YAKA over Mooncup right now. Probably see some moon catchers in the chat saying, go, go, Mooncup. YAKA with a chance now to go up 14-12 if they can score this one, their first 2-point lead of the game. Just quickly checking in, it looks like Jinx have taken a break, so they are up 10-8 on BFD Shout. Of course, the winner of this game will face the winner of that game in the final tomorrow. Losers will play in a bronze game, which will also be a cracker, so still got 2 great games in this division tomorrow. So we see YAKA isolating Clara Matias there and bringing the whole rest of the stack away. Berin de Asp, I think, poaching off of Thyssen, which is an interesting strategy. So I'm not sure exactly what she's preventing here, and you don't want to give Thyssen that easy reset. Upline pass to Matias. And it does work. Now in Thyssen's hands. Pass there, nobody going up the line yet. De Asp in position to stop Thyssen's up the line cut. Thyssen going around the back, and it's still there. Up the line, and there is the block from Borneau, but a foul is going to be called. Olivier is saying you pushed there. That's a tight one. Let's have a look. So here it is. It's really hard to see from this angle. I do see that Borneau got a hand on it, but I think there might have been some body contact on the way. Accepted foul. Back in Olivier's hands, and we see Thyssen knock over De Asp. I think she's going to probably call a foul on that one. I doubt this one's going to count as a goal. Yeah, I think there's a little push there. And I think that one's going to go back. And De Asp comes off the field. Somebody who's going to come in to guard Thyssen. Not easy shoes to fill. They're going to bring in Leduc. Not the worst person to come in for a big defensive matchup like Thyssen. A bit of discussion as where people are going to come back in. A lot of talk. I think the stall is going to come in pretty high. Eventually a shot up the line, and it works out for YAKA. 14-12. They take a late 2-point lead in the game. And there you see Elise Becker, the star player. I think has been pretty quiet this game, but with a score to add to her stat line. And Mooncup in a tough spot now. Their offensive line going to come out for the last time this game. Going to have to punch one in and get a couple breaks if they want to win. There you see Elise Becker. Look, that got such a hard throw to hit, but somehow managed. And yeah, we're coming down to it. Coming down right to it. If I'm correct, that was Elise Becker's first stat of the game, which is an impressive feat in its own right for Mooncup. Stop that. See Rasta here marshalling the defensive line. Stalwart leader of this YAKA team for a long time now. Commands a lot of respect. Everyone I talk to who's played with her says she's an incredible teammate and an incredible leader. And now, going to throw a great pull to start things off for YAKA. Let's see if Mooncup's O can handle the pressure. Their O-line out there for the last time this game. Lagala. Disc center to Raoulé. Gives and goes back to Lagala. Passes up the line. It's a shot into the deep space, and it's too far, but oh, almost picked up there. Harris almost makes another incredible play, but she's going to come off with an injury. And YAKA all of a sudden with a chance to win by 3. And remember, I know it's bracket play and usually only care about winning, but the point difference does matter for the rankings. So YAKA will be working hard to punch this one in. Getting a 3-point win over Mooncup will be very handy for them in the rankings. We see once again Leduc comes in after the turn on an injury. They were able to shut down Caroline Thyssen last time he came in, but it wasn't enough. Bobby Kian now pops it over to Boss. Boss boosts it deep. challenging Leduc. Leduc and Castillo again. And this time, Leduc's size gets the better of the matchup, and disc goes to ground. Salome Raoulé to pick up. There is some discussion down the field. I'm not sure what the discussion's about exactly. Oh, a pick called in the middle. I don't think it affected that option at all. I'm not sure any of those picked players would have been involved in that play. So again, yes, play will continue. Another turn by Mooncup, though, as Fiona Schluter cannot come down with that. And now this is a great position for YAKA. You got the disc in Boss's hands. You got a short end zone offense to work with. You got Rasta in the dump space. What more could you ask for? Puts it into space for Rasta, and Paula Bass to Aline Mondiaux will win the game. Rasta looks quite shaken up there by the contacts. I think the score will count regardless. I mean, the disc was on the ground, but clearly Rasta had control, so I believe it should be a strip, if anything. And hope Rasta's okay. You see all the players giving Rasta so much love, so much she's put into the club. Of course, everybody, tremendous amount of respect for that player, and she puts her body on the line for the team, and YAKA is going to the final. 15-12. They overcome Mooncup. What a game we had here. Mooncup had the advantage almost the whole way up until maybe about 11-11, and then YAKA just kind of walked away with it. I think it's that extra experience, and having been here before, having played these big games before, YAKA teaching Mooncup a little something about the mental toughness that they have. Also, YAKA's ability to play through their whole depth. You saw Mooncup tightening up their lines at the end there, but YAKA's safe. No, we have our whole team. We're winning this game as a team. And maybe that was the little advantage that allowed them to take that gap at the end of the game. But all said and done here, I'll take a final check-in at the score for the other semifinal. Jinx now up 13-9, so if things continue on here as we start to look at some highlights from the game, it looks like it's going to be Jinx versus YAKA in the final. There we see some of the amazing plays from this game. Here, Castillo doing great work. And I will leave you myself to watch these highlights, and also you should probably go flip over to Jinx versus Shout to catch the end of that semi anyways. For the European Ultimate Federation and Solid Sport and UltiTV's production here, I've been Rai Vasudevan, and we will see you in the Open semifinals coming up next.
Under pressure, sweaty palms ain't making it much better.